Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Federico Talks Watches. Today, I wanted to do a slightly more off-the-cuff video, a little less scripted than my usual stuff, and I wanted to talk about what I love about watch collecting and, what I love about this crazy hobby of ours. And now, before I get started, the customary wrist check. I'm wearing my Panerai Panerai Luminor Daylight. Same one I wore during the TGV review of it. Anyway, guys, so, what do I love about watch collecting? It's an interesting question. I'm sure everybody has a ton of different answers. But what I really love is the history and the story about watches. I got into watches maybe around age 17, 18, because my brother was kind of into watches. I'm really surpassed him in terms of passion for the hobby. He likes watches, but he's not obsessed with them like I am. And, a Breguet had just come out. This was around 2006, 2007. And, he was looking at it on Time Zone, one of Jorge Marino's famous news posts. And, he was telling me, and he's like, Federico, take a look, this Breguet, it's such a special piece, Abraham Louis Breguet, and he kept telling me the history. And, at the time, I didn't really give it too much thought. I'm like, yeah, whatever. As I grew older, I realized, and I come from a jewelry family. My parents are jewelers, my brother's in the industry, I'm in the industry now. I've come to really love beautiful things, as corny as that sounds, be it sartorial, automotive, or just art. And I realized, men's jewelry doesn't really exist. In my opinion, a man can really only express himself with his watch, maybe his shoes, cufflinks, things like that. So, watches were kind of a status symbol, which some people might take it to mean the wrong way. I do also wear a watch as a status symbol, I'm not gonna lie, but, it started that way, and then I started learning more about the histories. And my first job in the industry was with Cartier. I was a sales associate in their Fifth Avenue boutique, and this is where I learned more about the romance and marketing behind a watch. I learned all the stories of Alberto Santos Dumont, and how the Santos was created, the story about General Pershing and why the tank watch was created. And always having loved history in school and in general, these were really cool stories, and I learned, I started to see that watches represent a whole lot more than just a luxury item. And, of course, I also love the mechanics. I studied a lot about the movements, and, that's a very important figure, and a lot of people are into it because they love the mechanics, and I can totally understand that. But me not having an engineering background, actually far from it, I can definitely appreciate the mechanics, what they mean, what the craftsmanship means to a watch. But honestly, for me, it was really much more about the stories and the romance and what watches kind of represented. And from there, the first automatic watch I bought was this $200 or $300 rotary. It's an automatic with a 28-24 movement. And I bought it because it looked very much like a Cartier, which is where I was working at the time. It had the Roman numerals. And, I really, really like the aesthetic of it. I also love the aesthetics of watches. And from there, I just started reading Time Zone every day. I started studying all the books I could. YouTube, started watching a few channels out there. And really getting obsessed with watches. If I wasn't at work selling watches, I was at home reading about watches. And I really couldn't get enough. And then I learned a little bit about the collecting aspect. That if someone, were to buy intelligently, you don't necessarily lose money. And with a little bit of smarts and a little bit of hunting, you could really amass a decent collection without really losing too much money. And watches, I guess, to me are objet d'art. Just beautiful, artistic objects, a way of expressing myself, um, which women would tend to do with jewelry. Yes, I'm very well versed in the technical aspect, and you guys might be disappointed to hear that it isn't all about the mechanics for me. Even though I do know about it, for me it's more about the emotion a watch invokes, the hunt for the perfect watch, how a watch makes me feel when it's on my wrist. And what it represents. I also said it's a status symbol for me. Sometimes when I'm in a business meeting and I'm wearing my favorite suit and my favorite watch, I feel more powerful. It's a little bit corny, but it's true, and I just love the way they make me feel. This doesn't necessarily mean you have to spend a ton on a watch. I mean, I just did a video with TGV. It's coming out on Wednesday, where I delve more into my emotion for some less expensive pieces, and I share that, in fact, it's not all about the price, but I don't know. The history is great. My second piece was a Panerai, and I bought it because I'm Italian. The watch is Italian. It was an Italian design. I loved the history, the military history. So for me, it's a very romantic kind of subject, and it's a very romantic hobby, and that's how I collect. I don't necessarily buy what's a good investment or a new impressive technical innovation. I buy things that invoke emotion. Not always good, but a watch has to make me feel something, or honestly, it's not worth me purchasing it. Anyway, guys, what do you think? What is your collection philosophy? Do you agree with me? Are you more mechanically oriented? I know it's a short video today, but I just wanted to bring this out as kind of a question. I'm interested to see what everybody has to say. Leave a comment in the comment section below, and like this video if you enjoyed it. Please don't forget to subscribe. It really does motivate me to keep coming out with new content, and I hope you guys are enjoying it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.